You know, when most detective stories begin, someone's rich uncle, shady boss, or scandal-ridden spouse ends up dead. But not here. Oh no. In this story, the first casualty is a dog. And not just any dog, but a dog named Wellington who happens to belong to Mrs. Shears, Christopher Boone's neighbor. And Christopher, our detective in training, is not your typical Sherlock Holmes. He is a 15-year-old boy who's brilliant with math, loves logic, and sees the world in the most literal, precise way possible, because Christopher is autistic. The thing is, Christopher likes the truth. He needs the truth. In fact, he's allergic to lies the way some people are allergic to peanuts. And metaphors? Forget it. Christopher hates them because they don't mean exactly what they say. If you tell him the man was drowning in work, Christopher will pause and ask, "Where is the water?"
This doesn't make a lick of sense.
So one morning, Christopher finds poor Wellington lying dead on the lawn with a garden fork sticking out of him. Now, for many people, this would be sad, but not exactly a personal mission. For Christopher, however, this is a murder mystery worth solving. A dog has been wronged. Justice must be served. And so, like any good detective, he begins his investigation, armed with a notebook, his exceptional memory, and the belief that if he can solve Wellington's murder, maybe the world will make a little more sense. But of course, things don't go as planned. First, Christopher tries to gather information from Mrs. Shears. This does not go well. The woman is already devastated over her dog's death, and here comes Christopher with his blunt, straightforward way of asking questions. Before he knows it, the police show up. Now, Christopher has a problem with being touched. It's one of his boundaries. So when the officer, who probably thought he was just trying to comfort him, puts a hand on Christopher, he does what any startled, overwhelmed teenager would do. He punches the officer.
That's not funny, Proctor. No, sir.
And guess what? That's how Christopher's career as a criminal begins. Okay, maybe not a career, but at least an arrest record. He gets taken into custody, though Mrs. Shears decides not to press charges. Christopher's father, Ed, is furious. This entire situation is stressful enough, but Christopher's obsession with finding Wellington's killer makes it worse. Does Christopher back down? Absolutely not. He decides to investigate anyway. As Christopher's detective work goes on, something else starts to unravel. His family. For years, he's believed that his mother, Judy, died from a heart condition. It's one of those things that Christopher accepted because, well, what else was he supposed to do? His father said it was true, and Christopher trusts facts. But when his father finds out about his little detective notebook, he snatches it away in frustration. Of course, Christopher, being Christopher, decides to find it. And what does he find instead? A box filled with letters. Letters from his mother. Letters dated after her supposed death.
The deception! The betrayal, man, you deceived me!
This is where Christopher's world tilts sideways. His father lied. Not only is Judy alive, but she also left the family to be with, wait for it, Mr. Shears. Yes, the same Mrs. Shears' husband, the same Mrs. Shears whose dog is now dead. At this point, we don't know who's having a worse time. Christopher, who just discovered his father lied about something as big as death, or Ed, who is watching his relationship with his son crumble. To make matters worse, Ed has his own dark confession to make. And this is where things get complicated. Christopher hates lies. He hates anything that doesn't line up neatly with the truth. And when Ed finally confesses what really happened to Wellington, that he killed the dog in a moment of anger, Christopher loses all trust in his father. This is the ultimate betrayal for him. For someone who relies on clear, predictable patterns in life, the idea that his father, his one safe person, could do something so violent and then lie about it is too much to handle. So Christopher does what any self-respecting detective would do. He runs away.
Let me see what you have! No!
Here's the thing. Christopher's decision to leave home is brave, but it's also terrifying. His brain works best when things are orderly, predictable, and logical. But the real world? It's anything but that. He hates crowds. He hates being touched. And now he's heading to London, a giant chaotic city, because that's where his mother lives. He takes with him his pet rat Toby, because obviously, if you're going to escape your lying father and find your missing mother, You need your trusty rat sidekick. It's basically the rule.
You are the only one I can trust here.
Christopher's journey is one of the most fascinating parts of this story. On the surface, it's about finding his mother. But on a deeper level, it's about a boy who doesn't process emotions the way we expect, stepping into the unknown because the alternative, staying with someone he no longer trusts, is unbearable. He navigates trains, streets, and strangers, all while dealing with the sensory overload that makes these situations feel like a storm inside his mind. He's confused, scared, and determined. It's both heartbreaking and inspiring to see him push past his limits. And finally, after a lot of misadventures and stress, Christopher finds Judy.
Yay!
Now Judy, well, she's complicated. She left Christopher and Ed because she couldn't handle his condition. She was too impatient, too temperamental, and she admits it. She wanted a different life, a simpler one, with Mr. Shears. But when Christopher shows up on her doorstep, it's like life just slapped her with all the responsibilities she ran away from. And Mr. Shears? Let's just say he's not thrilled about Christopher moving in. Their relationship, Judy and Mr. Shears, starts to crack almost immediately. Christopher, being Christopher, doesn't care about their relationship drama. He has a goal, his A-level math exams. While everyone else is dealing with the emotional fallout of the family drama, Christopher is laser-focused on this academic goal. It's the one thing that makes sense to him. It's order in a world full of chaos.
Nothing you do matters! Your existence is a lie!
So soon enough, Christopher decides he needs to go back to Swindon to sit for his exams. Judy goes along with him, which honestly doesn't go over well with Mr. Shears. But let's face it, that relationship was probably doomed the minute Christopher showed up with Toby. The problem is, Judy accidentally reschedules Christopher's A-level exams to the following year, thinking she's actually doing him a favor. But Christopher isn't having that. To him, promises and plans are, well, pretty much sacred. This turns into yet another source of tension, one that just adds to Judy's already unstable situation. She even ends up losing her job after missing work to take care of Christopher.
Wow, this is a sobering reality.
Throughout the book, we see the world from Christopher's perspective, and it's nothing like the way most of us see it. The book is divided into chapters numbered with prime numbers, because Christopher likes prime numbers. We see how he categorizes his days as good, super good, or bad based on the color of the cars he sees. We see how he uses logic and math to navigate life, but also how easily overwhelmed he becomes by things most of us don't even notice, like too many people standing close together or someone giving an indirect answer to a question. Christopher isn't a character you pity. He's a character you admire. His brain may work differently, but it's also brilliant. And while his emotional responses can be hard to read, they're genuine and they're his own. The book I've been talking about is, of course, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. What I love most about this book is how it flips the idea of a detective story on its head. The murder mystery of Wellington isn't just about finding out who killed a dog. It's about uncovering all the little secrets and lies that hold a family together, and watching what happens when those lies are exposed. Haddon does something remarkable here. He gives us a narrator who is unlike any other. Through Christopher's eyes, we get to see the world in its rawest form, unfiltered, literal, and surprisingly beautiful. We see how difficult and confusing it can be to live in a society built on unspoken rules and subtle hints when you only deal in facts and honesty. So, some of the main themes here are truth and trust, family dynamics, and, well, perception versus reality. Truth and trust. Well, for Christopher, truth is everything. When Ed lies to him about Judy's death and about Wellington, the foundation of their relationship just crumbles. It really raises the question, can love survive without trust? Family dynamics can be, well, really complicated. Judy leaves because she just can't handle the challenges of raising Christopher. Ed stays, but he's flawed too. The book doesn't give us perfect parents. It gives us real, messy, struggling humans. Through Christopher, we see how perception shapes reality. His way of seeing the world is different, but honestly, it's no less valid than ours. Mark Haddon isn't just a novelist. He's also a poet, illustrator, and screenwriter. Interestingly, Haddon has said that while many readers assume Christopher has Asperger's syndrome, he never intended to label Christopher with a specific condition. Instead, he wanted to show us what it's like to live with a mind that doesn't quite fit the standard mold. The curious incident of the dog in the nighttime isn't just a detective story. It's a story about love, fear, trust, and the courage it takes to step out of your comfort zone. And it's also a reminder that sometimes the biggest mysteries aren't about who killed the dog. They're about understanding the people closest to us. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.